Hello everyone, and welcome back. Haven't done something like this in a while, but the new patch is out, so I wanted to kind of show people exactly what I've done recently with the new patch coming out and different abilities that got buffed and the different abilities that got nerfed to give you a rundown on what I'm using and the type of numbers that I'm getting with them. So let's start with my stamina Necromancer here. Okay, so first off, my stam necro. Let's just kind of hit character sheet here. I sit at 10,027 maximum magicka, 15,633 in maximum health. That could be better. That's one of the downfalls of the necromancer, in my opinion. You do have to use a high recovery food if you want to be able to pull off the rotation that I'm about to pull off to be able to get good DPS. Maximum stamina, I sit at 32,022. Weapon damage on my two-hand bar is at 3263. Weapon critical at 34.1. That is a little bit low of a weapon critical for a stam character, but when I hit my potion, it's going to go to 44%. My potion can stay up 100% of the time, and then when we get into the execute phase, there are passives that the necromancers have that improve your critical hit strike, and basically, when I get into execute phase with this necromancer, I'm critting almost every damage, so it really makes up for not getting a ton of them up front in the beginning. Spell resistance sits at 14,500. Physical resistance 11,500. When we bar swap to our bow bar, only 2642 on our bow bar with 39% critical. So with my potion, 49% critical rating, and once again with the necromancer passives and necromancer abilities slotted, that will go up a little bit as well. I keep 10 points in health and 54 points in stamina. Otherwise, if this 10 points wasn't here, I'd have really, really crappy health, really crappy max health. I'm using the Shadow the Shadow Mundus Stone for 14% increased critical damage. I am using the Lava Foot Soup and Saw Treat, which is a max stam and stam recovery food. It gives me a lot of maximum stamina and a lot of stamina recovery. As you can see, my stamina recovery sits at 1522. When I hit my potion, that goes up, and when I have my archer out, it goes up as well. So I hit right around the 2,000 stamina recovery region with the with both of those up. Gear hasn't changed since the with the new patch here. I'm still using Locistes. I am two-handing. Some people are preferring to go with the Maelstrom two-hand, the Maelstrom dual wields, an axe and dagger normally, and running the Master's bow with it also, and then just skipping the helm. I don't like... I tried that, I really did, but the damage between the two-hand and the dual wield was negligible, honestly. So I went back to just using my two-hand. It's more comfortable for me, and I get a little bit more AoE damage for mobs with my two-handed setup. I am using the Maelstrom bow, which is increases the damage of volley heals by 320 each tick. This bonus increases by 110 every time volley ticks. I am using Storm Fist, Monster Helm, giving me 129 stamina recovery, which is another thing that I like about this Monster Helm, and why I'm not going to take it off at the moment. And when you deal damage, you have a 10% chance to create a Thunder Fist that shocks the enemy for almost 2,000 shock damage for 3 seconds, and then 10,560 damage when the fist closes, or once every 8 seconds. Wearing Reliquin, most people are familiar with this. It's got some weapon critical added to it, minor slayer, and then your light and heavy attacks stack harmful winds. Winds deal 264 damage per stack. It can stack up to 20 times. When I'm at 20 stacks, I'm getting 4,200 damage per second just off the winds. So, pretty strong. Actually, OP. It's very, very overpowered in my opinion. And then the Locistes that I'm running. This is I don't have this golded out yet, or I could improve the stats a tad little bit, but weapon damage, minor slayer at all times, weapon damage, and when you activate a synergy, you gain major slayer for 15 seconds, the damage done by trial and dungeon monsters by 15%. That's huge. Absolutely huge. So when we're in dungeons and trials with this character, I am not synergizing on my bow bar, because my bow bar is where my maelstrom bar is, and I'm not getting my 5-piece bonus. So I wait to hit synergies until I'm on my two-handed weapon bar. And that's where I make sure I hit all my synergies, so I'm getting my bonus from my Locistes. On the all of the jewelry, we are running weapon damage enchantments, and all of them are bloodthirsty as well. Bloodthirsty is going to increase damage to enemies under 25% health by 9%, so this all stacks up to 27% more damage on anything that's in execute phase. And added in with anything in execute phase, I get bonus crit damage to. This really helps this build just burn through that last 25 on the boss. It's crazy quick on it. Skills, little bit different of skills here. Just one thing, to be honest with you. Normally, right here, we would have had the Caltrops, and Caltrops took a nasty nerf when it came to the last patch. It took away the initial damage that the Caltrop did, and it took away a lot of the damage it did. When it came down to having this on yesterday, when the patch came through, my Caltrops are doing like 973 damage a second. That's a huge hit to my DPS. Now, they do apply major fracture. So, a lot of people, I argued with a guy in Grotwood's Zone chat, because he was saying there was a 3k DPS difference in favor of Caltrops opposed to consuming Trap. And I had to basically explain to him that, yes, he was getting higher DPS when using the Caltrops because he was applying major fracture with those Caltrops. And so it looked like his DPS went up. Had to go in and actually tank a target dummy for him and show him that with me tanking, his DPS numbers didn't get any better because I was already applying debuffs or he was already applying debuffs that I would have normally applied as a tank. So it took me about a half hour to explain to this guy what the difference was, but I got him to, put on the soul trap and get it morphed into consuming trap, and that's when he was just like, oh my gosh, you were right. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I was trying to explain this to you, you just wanted to be hostile and tell me I was an idiot. But we got him through it, and got him set up on the right path. Actually, befriended him on the game as well, so it was really nice. Now, Endless Hail, I have up here. Most people are actually using the other morph to this now, which is the Arrow Barrage. It does tick a little bit higher on damage, but it's not that big of a deal to me because Arrow Barrage is only 8 seconds, where Endless Hail is 12 seconds. So I was missing out on a couple seconds worth of damage with that Arrow Barrage. Yeah, at the beginning, when it starts up, it takes about 2 seconds to ramp up before it starts doing damage. And when I was getting back to it, it had fallen off for a second. So I'm getting a 2 to 3 second of no damage being applied by this ability. So when I morphed it back to Endless Hail, I actually got a little bit better DPS numbers, at least for my parse, for me personally, because I was able to reapply it before it fell off because I have this 12 seconds on. But that's here nor there, and if that's something, test it out for yourself. This Endless Hail for me works better. Consuming Trap as well. Poison Injection. This took a nerf, unfortunately. The damage over time that it deals used to be up to 350%. Now it's at 100%. So Endless Hail took a nerf. Poison Injection took a nerf. Barbed Trap. This is your old rearming trap. This does a good bit of damage. This actually, I think, outperforms its previous version, to be honest with you. This will hit pretty darn hard, especially with all my passives. I do keep Necrotic Potency right here just to suck up souls in Dungeons and Trials to get my ultimate back faster. Pestilent Colossus, and we will run this on both bars just for that passive in the Gravelord ability line that we'll show you here in a minute. Back bar, we are running Carve. It's a ability where he just swings his sword, or swings the axe, in a conal in front of him, and anything hit in that conal takes 6930 physical damage, and then gets a 1200 bleed damage for over 10 seconds as well, so it can hit multiple enemies. When I go into big ad-heavy fights, I tend to switch out my Locistes with my Master's axe, because for each target that's inside the cone, it gets even more pardon me there, I had to sneeze, guys. That Master's axe, it increases the damage of the swing by 1500 for each enemy within its cone when you swing it, and up to a 9,000 point increase. So that can really make that ability like just smack like a truck. It really can. And big heavy ad pulls and whatnot, I will put on my Master's axe and take off my Locistes axe for seconds just to clear ad pulls quicker. Blighted Blast Bones. These are still not working as advertised. They said they were fixing this. I actually have more issues at this point with my Blast Bones coming to life and having more of a staring contest with the target than it does blowing up on the target at times. So sometimes it works good, but they said they were fixing this so that it acted better. It's not acting better, plain and simple. One ability that I do use that got a buff. Most people in this situation right here would probably have the Venom Skull right here. It does a good bit of damage, it really does. But this Executioner, yeah, it starts off on low damage, but it deals up to 400% more damage. It used to be 350, it got a buff to 400. I'm surprised they did that, honestly. But it gets up to 400% more damage to enemies that are less than 50% health. So the first 50% of the boss, yeah, Venom Skull is going to outperform Executioner, but when you get into 50%, 30%, 25%, the damage pickup that you get from Executioner is just amazing, really is. So I don't worry about having Venom Skull on. I just work Executioner into my everyday rotation. I do have Detonating Siphon. This is another thing that was crazy. They reduced the damage on this a little bit, by about 10% they say. But it has no cost. That's crazy to me. It's free DPS at this point. As long as there's a corpse on the ground that you can put it on, it costs you no magicka, no stamina. It is a free ability that does 22,000 damage over 12 seconds. And then when it explodes, it does another 7,159. And while slotted, your damage is increased by 3%. This ability is a no-brainer. This is wonderful. I do have my Skeletal Archer. This is another one that got a buff. He wasn't doing that much damage before. Now he is doing damage. 5281 physical damage every 2 seconds. And when each time he attacks, his attack gets 5% more damage than the previous attack. So it builds up damage over the longer it sits out. And once again, Pestilent Colossus. Reusable parts. In the Gravelord is the 25% cost reduction on your Blastbone, Skeletal Mage, and Spirit Menders when they die. The cost of the next one is always 25% less. And here's what I was talking about. This increase your critical strike chance against enemies under 25% health by 10% for each Gravelord ability slotted. On the back bar, it's 40%. On my front bar, it's only 10%, so not a big deal, but I'm doing most of my most of my damage on my back bar anyway. So, but 40%, and then when you add on that I'm getting, 49% already from my, when I have my potion slot, when I have my potion active, my critical rating is at 49% flat. So, when I get into critical strike, or excuse me, when I get into execute phase, you are looking at an 89% crit rating, which for the most part, every damage you do ends up being a crit. When you have a Graven physical or Grave Lord ability active, your physical and spell penetration are increased by 1500. That is very easy to do because I have my Skeletal Archer out all the time. My Detonating Siphon will be on almost the whole time. So this is really easy to keep up, giving me that extra penetration. And then increased damage done with damage over time effect. I do have everything in Bowden Tyrant filled out just for the extra resources when something dies. 200 to be precise. Reduces your damage from damage over time abilities by 10% when you have a Bone Tyrant ability active. Only thing I have that would be active here would be my Necrotic Potency when I suck up souls, so probably not the best use of a couple skill points right there, but I have it in there anyway. This one as well, on my front bar I get a 2% healing receive. So, I guess that's kind of cool. And this one here is pretty big. Increase your max health by 1250. Living Death. First two I'm not that concerned about because they're more healing. The corpse consumption, this is huge right here. You generate 10 ultimate when you use an ability on a corpse. And this can happen every 16 seconds. This is a huge ultimate builder right here. I need to get this filled out the rest of the way too. Currently my magic and stamina recovery is at 100% when I have a skeletal mage out. It could go up to 200 if I'd focus on getting this up and give myself even more resource control. That's pretty much how the build goes right there. I'm going to take a few swings at this test dummy here. The rotation that I'm going to use is going to be the Endless Hail and Consuming Trap, then Poison Injection, my Barbed Trap. I'm gonna bar swap. I'm gonna do a fully charged heavy attack and then use my blast bones, and then I'm gonna use my carve, my executioner. I am going to put out another blast bone. I'm gonna put out my detonating siphon. I am going to call out a new archer. I am going to call out a new blast bone. I'm going to bar swap, and I'm going to start over. And that is going to be a light attack between every ability, except when I bar swap, I'm going to do a heavy attack, just to make sure that I have stamina at all times. It's just, it's probably not something I have to do at this point, because they've taken the cost away from the detonating siphon, and I'm using an actual magicka ability with the consuming trap, so I'm not using nearly as much stamina as I was previously, and I'm ending fights with a lot more stamina than I used to, but I just kind of used to doing it this way, and I just don't want to teach myself differently, maybe. I don't know, I'm lazy. I am using a Essence of Spell Power Potion, which is going to give me major savagery, major... one second. Make sure I get all that right. Oh my god, I can't find the right thing. Laudable, for God's sake. Okay, so... Major Brutality for 20% weapon damage, Major Savagery for 2191 weapon critical, and 7487 stamina with stamina recovery included in on it as well. So just to kind of go through this rotation real quick, like we'll do right here on this this 3 million dummy. First thing I do is call out my Skeletal Archer when I'm going into battle, so he's already active. And I'm going to go ahead and call out a Blast Bone, bar swap, and then get started. Right there was 43,518. You'll see the one I did above it was 44,484. This this build has the ability to hit very good DPS. You see I'm already back to full stamina at this point. I didn't use all of my stamina pool in any way, shape, or form. I got my stamina back really quick, and I got 43k on that parse right there. Now keep in mind, there is no major fracture being applied here, no minor fracture, no all cost, no none of that stuff there. That can increase how hard your tune hits. And I'm not getting the 5-piece bonus from my Locistes when I'm hitting this 5 million dummy, because I don't have a synergy to hit. If I hit that synergy, I get that 15% more damage, and that would really boost my DPS as well. So you just see me hit 43 right there. I'm not going to bore you with a parse on the raid dummy. That is just it takes too long for most people to even stay interested in it, just to sit there and watch that happen. But on the raid dummy, the target dummy, Iron Atronach, I get about 84 to 85k with this build, because I can actually hit synergies and keep up my Major Slayer, and he's got all the major debuffs applied to him already. So in a perfect situation, a perfect scenario situation, hit 84, 85k with this build. Yes, I know there are YouTubers that are doing better, don't care. This works for me, and I like it, and it could work for other people. So, if you have any questions, definitely get a hold of me in the guild, or just comment below, and we will go over anything you have questions about. But I'm going to end that right here, guys, and I'm going to go jump on my Sork and probably restart a different live stream here just to show people what I'm doing with my Sork next. So, thank you very much, and everyone have a great day.